AI chatbots like ChatGPT are shaping the way people buy things and who they trust online. Recently published reports from the Capgemini Institute report that over 60% of people have already swapped out traditional search for AI. That means instead of going onto Google and typing in things, they're asking ChatGPT. And so if you think about the fact that people share a huge amount of personal information to AI, it understands everything about them. And so these large language models can actually present and create an incredibly tailored and custom and personalized experience for the people that are using these chatbots. And so that's why I can confidently say that the future of shopping is via AI. It's way more personalized and people trust their large language model as if it's one of their best mates. You can see here in this Adobe report, this new way of attracting clients to your business is just getting started. It's literally just been born. And so that's why GEO, Generative Engine Optimization, is one of the best things that you can do in 2025 into 2026. So if you're a coach, a consultant, an entrepreneur, you want to start gearing up your brand to be referenced and cited by AI so you can enjoy more inbound leads and referrals from one of the most trusted sources out there. We're going to break down in this video exactly what you can do to start showing up in AI search. Okay, so let's just break down the technical difference between SEO and GEO before we move into the actual steps that you need to take. So the goal with traditional SEO is all about matching keywords to whatever people are searching into Google. So for example, if someone was searching waterproof hiking boots, you want to make sure waterproof hiking boots is plastered around your website and through all of your articles, etc., etc. Where the goal with GEO is all about using the right entities on your website. So if you look at it this way, keywords are like quick tags, like hashtags on Instagram, and entities are like Wikipedia pages. They define what something is and how it connects to something else. They essentially help large language models believe and trust your website as a trusted source of information and positions your business as the best solution to whatever problem someone is searching for. So now that we have that out of the way, there are essentially 4 things that you need to understand when it comes to GEO, when it comes to actually getting your brand surfaced in AI. So the first step is setting up your knowledge graphs and trust signals. And this is basically what needs to happen in order for AI to actually trust you and your website. This basically proves that you're not just someone who's trying to game the machine. You're not someone who's trying to pump a load of AI slop onto the internet, but you're actually someone who is an expert in your space. And it's pretty easy to actually set this up. So think about this like setting up your digital fingerprints all over the internet so that it collates into one space, which is on your website, and it proves to AI when they're crawling through your site that you're someone to be trusted. So the first thing that you need to do is actually go out and set up certain profiles on trusted websites. So when it comes to trust signals, the gold standard is Wikipedia. Wikipedia has a deal with OpenAI and other large language models that allows them to crawl their databases and literally reference. So if you type into ChatGPT anything, you will see that oftentimes one of the most referenced sources for them are Wikipedia. Now, if you are not on Wikipedia, the next best option is to set yourself up on something like Wikidata. This immediately shows the large language models that you're someone to be trusted. So other great trust signals that you need to get profiles set up for yourself and for your business are basically a Crunchbase profile, open corporates, well-found LinkedIn profiles. And then ideally, if you have any published articles, is to get yourself a Google Scholar profile set up. Now, don't worry about the last one. I don't actually personally have one of those, but if you can get the majority of those set up, we'll basically be using these later to take these links of these profiles and bake them into the back end of your website code. And this is what we call a schema markup. Don't worry if this gets too technical right now, but understand that these are the things that signal trust to the LLMs that you are an expert in the space. So the second step is to understand what you need to be writing about. Okay, and there's a few ways that you can basically hack this. But first, understand that people searching traditionally on Google, for example, are typing in direct keywords. Whereas with ChatGPT, AI, Gemini, whatever platform you use, people are actually asking questions in natural language. For example, if someone was to ask, how do I create a brand that stands out online? Now, if I know that my ideal clients are searching for that question, that is a very, very powerful clue that I need to be answering that question in as many different ways as possible on my website so that when someone asks AI, AI then searches and they see on my website, holy crap, here's a huge source of information around this specific topic. Now, there are a few things, while we can't actually access the ChatGPT's data on what people are searching, we can actually do a little bit of a hack. And the hack is to actually ask your AI chatbot, my ideal client is X, my ideal client is entrepreneurs in this space. Please tell me 100 prompts that they are likely asking you related to the problems that they're struggling with. So what your AI is going to do is send you 100 prompts in natural language that they are likely asking AI. And then what we like to do is take that and ask ChatGPT to actually rank each one of those questions by intent. And that's going to show us what are the highest intent things that people are asking versus the medium versus like the lowest intent stuff. Now that you have the 25 highest intent prompts that your ideal client is likely asking ChatGPT, you can then go out and write articles answering those questions in depth using entity and semantic chunking. Now, obviously, this is a little bit of a technical thing. You can either go out and write these yourself if you've got loads of time. But if you're a time-poor entrepreneur and you don't have time to actually write out all of these articles, and if you actually are serious about ranking on ChatGPT in literally the next month or so, we need to use AI to speed up the creation process for us. Now, one of the coolest things about GEO and actually being referenced by AI is that AI doesn't care if you're writing as a human versus writing as an AI. There are a lot of myths out there which say that you will be deranked by Google if you're using AI to write your articles, but frankly, that is BS. AI doesn't care as long as the information is valuable, it's got unique insights in it, and it's written in a way that really supports the questions that people are actually asking. So if your content is valuable, it doesn't matter if AI has written it or not. And so you can actually use AI to write these articles for you. Literally, you could do an article a day, or you could do 2 articles a day if you want to actually make sure that in a month's time, you've got enough content on your site so that your website is now a trusted source for AI. So we have designed a bunch of prompts on this process on how to actually write these articles. So if you want to get access to those prompts, then check the link below. We've got all of the prompts laid out in our community. All right, so the third most important point is how to actually write for machines so that AI is able to easily read your content. Now, when I first actually thought about this, I was like, okay, I have to write for a human. But in actual fact, the strategy that we're implementing is writing for machines first, not humans. And I know that sounds a little bit weird, but the process that we've actually laid out enables humans to read it too, but it's also optimized for machines to read it. And the way that we basically do that is the way we structure out our articles. The key thing to actually realize here is to write in chunkable, atomized content. And the way that you do that is by writing H2 and H3 headings in the form of questions. So your headlines are not just going to be, fancy marketing titles, but rather these are going to be the exact questions and prompts that your clients are likely asking people as it relates to the topic you're writing about. And so, for example, you got one of your H2, and a H2 is basically a subheadline. When you've got your subheadline, the first thing that you're going to be answering in the paragraph under that headline is the answer to that question. We also want to make sure that we're keeping the sentences plain and direct. Why is this important? Well, it's important because AI has a limited amount of tokens that it can spend on any given search. So we want to make it as easy as possible for AI to find the answers within your text. Now, one thing that AI really relies heavily on when it's searching for answers is an FAQ section. So you want to make sure that every single article you're producing has a clear FAQ section right at the bottom of the article. And again, these are just going to be answering the core question, the core prompt in different angles. It's got questions, and answers. So your article is going to be this really clear, concise answer to the question from multiple angles. All right, the fourth and most important point of this is schema markup. Now, for those of you that are not too technical, schema markup basically ties together everything we've just spoken about into a form that machines can actually read. Now, this is basically a custom code that you embed into the HTML of your website. So if you're building a website on WordPress or Framer or Go High Level, whatever it is, there's a certain code that you need to create, which basically has all of your mentions, all of your trust signals. It has your H1s, H2s embedded into it, and it also has all of your frequently asked questions inside of it. And this means when you publish your article and you go on to Rich Results, which is a test which shows how search engines are actually reading your content, you need to make sure you're passing this test, and you need to make sure that your FAQs and these articles are structured as article entities. It's not good enough just to have a website and publish a load of content. If you don't have your schema markup sorted, there's no chance that AI is going to reference you. All right, I know this was a lot of information. I'm even going to give you 3 bonus steps in a second. But before I do that, I just want to make sure you're not going to leave this video without implementing all of this. The entire process of building a website that hosts your content and signals to AI that you're a brand worth mentioning is what we call building a digital home. In our 21-day digital home sprint, you'll get access to our article creation prompts, how to set up knowledge graphs, how to actually create the schema markup for your site, and how to build a site you're actually proud of. Anytime big shifts like this happen, anytime the marketing world is flipped on its head, there's always a great deal of opportunity for those first movers. And it's the brands and the people who actually take advantage of this right now that are going to be leagues ahead of the competition. So hit the link below, join today, and I'll see you on the inside, my friend. Okay, so like I promised, here are the bonus steps for getting your brand referenced by AI. So traditionally, where it would have been good enough just to be posting on Instagram loads or doing a YouTube channel, what you really want to start doing is expanding your presence onto platforms like Reddit, Quora, and YouTube. These 3 websites specifically are the 3 most powerful sources of AI information. So if you're finding your clients on specific forums and answering them through valuable questions and you have links to your actual digital home, you're going to find a huge source of quick wins and really high intent buyers. The second thing I want you to understand is you need to be making every single marketing asset you have Gen AI ready, which means rather than just publishing a video or publishing an article, make sure that it has descriptive alt text that speaks to machines. And again, this is something we break down in our digital home sprint, but you always want to have in the back of your mind, how am I speaking to and how am I optimizing for machines and the natural language questions that people are actually asking on platforms like ChatGPT. And the third is just to remember that AI traffic alone does not convert traffic into clients. You could literally have the best website in the world, but if it's not geared up to actually offer people exactly what they want in the language that they wanted, then frankly, you just have a great website with loads of traffic. We want to make sure that your website is completely optimized to convert that traffic into sales. That's really the goal of what we're in. And so you've almost got to look at every article that you produce as a mini sales page. So can you offer people lead magnets, resources, mini products, digital products, or do you want people to go directly to a call? And so this all starts by understanding exactly what your offer is. And again, that's something that we take you through in our digital home sprint. This is the future of digital marketing. If you can create a digital home that is a collation and a melting pot of all of your best content people can binge watch over time. Once the AI actually sends people to your site, they're going to be in your ecosystem, they're going to consume the content, and before you know it, my friend, people are going to be reaching out to you for help.